I have made several videos about voice type and what is your voice type, but let's talk about why your vocal range doesn't necessarily define your voice type. Hi and welcome to today's video. In case you don't know me yet, my name is Freya Casey. I'm a professional singer and vocal coach from Germany, and I love helping other people around the world who are also passionate about music and singing find their true voice. Now that's of course something that is quite challenging. Your true voice, what is your true voice? The first thing you're going to ask yourself is like, what voice type am I? If you're in a choir, probably you sing in any section, right? Like you either sing in the soprano section or the alto section if you're a woman, and if you're a man, well, sometimes they cross over because someone has a very high voice or someone can sing very low. As a man, usually you will be in the tenor or the bass section. But of course, there's so much more. In a choir, it's really about just vocal range. It's not so much about your individual timbre, which is the actual sound of your individual voice, because it all blends together and it's not that relevant what your individual voice sounds like. However, as a soloist, there are a lot more factors that influence what voice type you will be categorized as. Besides just your vocal range, which is just kind of a broad idea, do you have a higher voice or a lower voice? There's so much more that flows into it. Now there are high sopranos who can go extremely high, but who also can go very, very low. So what do you do then? There are also basses who can sing really low, but they also have a very strong high voice. They just have a large range. So you can't just determine someone's voice type by just what the range is. Now, someone may have a very small vocal range, which of course limits where you can be categorized. If you can't really sing the high pitches, probably it's not going to be helpful to be singing tenor as a man or soprano as a woman repertoire, because the high pitches are just not what your voice where your voice shines. However, the high pitches can be trained and the low ones can be somewhat trained, but there is a defined limit. You can't go further than the most short and thick state of your vocal cords and then vibrating and creating that lowest frequency. There is just this stopping point beyond which you can't really go. Now on the high end, on the other hand, you can always stretch those muscles a little bit more and strengthen them to take a little bit more stretch. It's just like doing the splits, right? I mean, you can't do more than all the way relax your muscle. But when it comes to flexing or even stretching, you could put on a little bit more weight and a little bit more weight. And that can be worked up to. Now let's come back to why your range doesn't define your voice type. Your voice type is largely defined by the color of your voice. So if you have a really dark sounding and more, it sounds low, although it might not be really that low, voice, you probably wouldn't be categorized as a high coloratura soprano / soubrette, which is of course from classical music, but you wouldn't be that bright, sparkly, youthful soprano. You would sing roles, if we were in musical theater, you would sing roles that were more maybe the older women or the more serious types, not the sparkly. Those serious and lower voice types have just a whole different color. Now, while you may be able to sing as high as like this really high soprano, it's not where the best part of your voice lies. The meat of your voice, where you have the best timbre and the best sparkle, is just not in that very, very high range in your voice, but more in the middle to low. And it's the same for men, of course. What if you can actually go low, but you have this very bright and light sounding youthful voice? Then probably you will not sing roles or songs that have this really dark, heavy sound because it's just not suitable. The same goes for agility. So you may have a voice that it's very easy for you to be agile and fast and sing ad-libs and melismas and coloraturas, fast stuff. But you may have a voice where it's just naturally really hard. Usually heavier, darker voices will have a harder time being more agile and an easier time to be like long legato lines, while lighter, brighter voices have a tendency to have easier times just singing bright, sparkly, fast-moving stuff. It kind of goes together. And it's almost like, if something's heavy, it's harder to move it fast. And if something's really light, it's much easier to move it fast. Lower voices usually take a little bit longer to warm up, while higher, lighter voices might just not take as long. I have a higher, brighter voice, and for me, I can have a pretty quick warm-up. I don't really need a long warm-up, but I know it's not the same for all my colleagues, and it will hurt someone if they do the same thing as I do. So it's really relevant to respect your voice type. So ask yourself, number one, yes, what is your range? But above that, what is the color of your voice? What is the level of agility that naturally comes to you? That is so important. Okay, let me know in the comments, what do you think? What is your voice type? And if you are a little bit of an expert, I have made videos about subcategories, especially for sopranos. In the classical music world, there are many categories, like subcategories. There's not just soprano, there's like many different kinds of soprano, because that describes more the weight and the color of the voice and the agility, much more than just range, okay? Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you want to dive deeper and really find out what your strengths are and where you need work, you can check out my signature course. It's a self-study course, Back to the Basics. Go to my website at masteryourvoice.tv. And it's very comprehensive, more than 70 videos that are not on YouTube or anywhere else, just exclusive. And I do expand on the course every once in a while to where I add some material that I think is beneficial. There's an entire section just on each and every vowel and consonant there is and how to sing them correctly. Very important, because what you sing is language, basically. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. I see you next time. And until then, always keep a song in your heart and always keep on singing.
I must be strong to carry on, 'cause I know I don't